Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Moon Knight Episode 5, Asylum. The first part will be non-spoilers, and then we'll get into spoilers, but you'll get plenty of warning. So yeah, I mean, this is probably, as I'm thinking about it, this is probably my favorite episode because it's very character driven. After the events of Episode 4, uh, all we are left to discover is really more about Mark and Steven and their relationship, how they came to be, and this episode really answers a lot of the story of that. We still remain in this place where we have all these questions and are wondering, what's real, what's not, what's the reality of, like, is anything we've seen so far, um is it all in Steven's and Mark's head? Is there, you know is there any other way that we're going to get out of this, or what is this place that we're in? And all that stuff is answered in this episode. So I very much enjoyed it. I think this is one of the episodes where they just let Oscar Isaac do what he does best, and that's just act. And especially when he's acting up, opposite himself, uh like, it's just, I don't know, it was really good. I think there's a lot of emotions to this episode, which I really like I said, I really like that it's so character driven and not so much, even though there's a little bit of action, and that action looks good, I still enjoyed that. I like the setting that we're in, and kind of the storytelling of, like, moving back and forth on these different levels of kind of reality. It's a little weird, but we can get more into that in spoilers. But overall, yeah, this was really good. Like I said, I think it's my favorite episode so far. They've earned my trust with that, so I'm very excited for the last episode, and really can't wait. We get a fun callback to the comics. Actually, a lot of stuff from the comics is really on this one, so I think longtime Moon Knight fans may really appreciate all that stuff. Even a few names that get dropped along the way. So yeah, this episode was a lot of fun. So, all right, now spoiler warning: if you don't want to get spoiled for Episode 5, you can, come back, watch it, tell us later. But here we go. So after the events of Episode 4, we leave the pair of Steven and Mark with Tower. But it's really fun that this episode actually kind of brings us back up a level, and I'm calling them levels because it's kind of hard to tell. But Mark is talking once again to Dr. Harrow, who is the representation of Harrow in this asylum world that Mark has created. Now we do find out that, as many people on the internet speculated, this asylum is the Duat. Tower explains that to the guys, um, where the human mind can't comprehend the Duat, which is the underworld for in the Egyptian underworld. But I also like that Tower molds this into, like, there's a line where they talk about the ancestral plane, which is, as you know, from Black Panther, where the previous Black Panthers reside. So I like that they're leaving all those little doors open and weaving everything into the MCU slowly and methodically, as opposed to just kind of bringing in weird cameos and stuff. So that's cool. So we know that there are multiple versions of what different cultures and religions might call the afterlife. And that's kind of how this episode is approached. So Tower is trying to take the Mark and Steven to the Field of Greens, which is the afterlife, where kind of like Valhalla or heaven, would be for different cultures. So, but the scales must be balanced, and for that, that's what really kicks off this episode. Mark and Steven need to learn about each other, and what we really find out here is which one of the altars is the first one, and which one was created afterwards. So it's very emotional. There's a lot of different things that kind of drive the story. We learn a lot about loss and grief, and how Mark lost his brother, and that led to a fractured relationship with his mom, who now would, abuse him emotionally and physically. We meet Mark's dad, and that's kind of, we also learn how the altar of Stephen came up. And then just facing the fact that Stephen and Mark finally realized, like, Stephen was made to protect Mark, But it really feels like Mark is protecting him from all the other bad things that are happening in his life. It's really complicated and it's really weird, but I think the show approaches that very well. So I really liked it. And then after all this heavy stuff, we get back into kind of like the more fantastical elements of the show, where the undead have come to claim this unbalanced soul. So we actually get some action, and it's really cool because we get to see Steven. He steps up and fights. He realizes that he is Mark, and so that would mean that he can also kick some ass, right? Unfortunately, the last emotional beat is that we lose Steven. Like the audience, that's the character that we've been introduced to first, so that's really pretty rough. But then also the reaction of Mark losing Steven, like it, like losing a part of himself. So yeah, I don't know. This episode was very good. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see how the show wraps this up. um I really hope that we don't have this repeating issue that we see with a lot of the shows, where the last episode is just a big CGI showdown, because this show's more grounded than that. So yeah, one of the cool things, the callbacks to the comics I was talking about, we do hear that the Bushman is name dropped. He is the mercenary that turned on Mark and killed him and left him for death. We also see Mark being left for death at the feet of Khonshu, and how Mark became his avatar. So that's really cool. Like that, all that stuff is straight pulled out from the comics. The Bushman is a character that I believe they speculated we might see in the show, so maybe we'll see him in episode 6. And the Bushman is just one of Moon Knight's comic book villains. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to see if they introduce that character, or if that's a thread that they might leave hanging out there for later in the MCU. So yeah, I also really like the character of Towerette. I think she's great. The stuff that, like, she's just very straightforward with the guys, as far as like, I can't help you. I'm only here to do my task, but I'm still gonna try to steer this into the right direction, because they do realize now that um, all these souls that Harrow's sending to the underworld without going through the proper channels, I guess, are affecting the underworld as well. So there's a lot happening, but overall, I'm very excited. So let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know how you're enjoying the show, and what do you think is going to happen on episode 6. I can't wait to go into the internet and watch all these videos from people that just really do a lot of good work of breaking up the episodes and looking at all the emotional beats. But I appreciate anybody that watches these reviews. So yeah, as always, thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Sundays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. And come back and see us. Let us know what else you'd like us to talk about. And stay tuned because on our next live, we will have a conversation about the Batman now that it's on HBO Max. We have had a time to see it and rewatch it, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, and as always, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.